Claire Harper was 32 years old, healthy, employed, no history of mental illness, no known enemies. On the morning of March 19th, she scheduled a routine physical at Crestfall Medical Center, a small private clinic just 5 miles from her home in West Haven. She arrived at 9:43 a.m. Surveillance footage shows her walking in. There is no footage of her ever leaving. She wasn't reported missing for 2 days. When police arrived, the clinic was clean, operational, empty. Her file was gone. The receptionist claimed she'd never heard the name. The attending physician listed on the appointment no longer existed in any registry. In fact, no doctor by that name had ever been licensed to practice medicine in the state. What happened to Claire Harper inside that building has remained a mystery for over 5 years, but this story, built on police records, recovered audio, and one terrifying eyewitness account, may finally reveal the truth. A truth more disturbing than anyone was prepared to accept. This is the case of Claire Harper, a woman who walked into a clinic and vanished. Tonight we examine a disturbing case involving a missing woman, a falsified medical practice, and a string of unexplained disappearances buried in local records. What started as a basic health screening turned into a full-blown cold case that investigators still can't explain. And the more we looked, the more we realized Claire wasn't the first. This isn't just another urban legend or viral internet horror. Every element in this story, dates, names, and evidence, has been pieced together from public records, sworn testimony, and private interviews. And what it reveals raises urgent questions about trust, identity, and the terrifying loopholes hiding in plain sight. This is a real horror story. This is Claire Harper's final appointment. Claire Harper worked a standard 9-to-5 job at a small insurance firm in West Haven. She wasn't famous. She wasn't controversial. Friends described her as dependable, private, and punctual. She lived alone in a one-bedroom apartment just off Ridley Avenue, and on March 18th, she told a coworker she hadn't been feeling well. Headaches, fatigue, minor stuff. She decided to book a routine checkup. Instead of going to her usual doctor, she chose a smaller clinic she'd found online, Crestfall Medical. Clean website, positive reviews, and they had next-day availability. She confirmed the appointment through an automated email at 6:08 p.m. The clinic was located on the edge of town near an industrial park. It wasn't well known. It wasn't busy, and most people in the area claimed they'd never even noticed it before. That morning, Claire left her apartment at 9:11 a.m. She texted a friend to say she'd grab coffee after her appointment. She was never heard from again. What's strange is, Crestfall wasn't listed in any official business registry. There were no tax records, no insurance billing, no complaints. It was as if the building had appeared just long enough to let her in, and then erased itself. The only clue left behind, a half-filled patient intake form, her name, her date of birth, and under emergency contact, just one word, written in ink that didn't match the pen she used anywhere else on the page. No one. According to the receptionist's log, now recovered from a forensic backup, Claire checked in at 9:43 a.m. She filled out her paperwork, sat in the waiting area, and was called in at exactly 9:58. No official patient file was ever submitted to any medical database. No vitals recorded, no test results. But what we do have is audio. A hidden digital recorder buried in the lining of Claire's handbag captured fragments of what happened next. Investigators believe she turned it on as a precaution. What they found has never been released to the public in full. Cut to muffled audio, footsteps, a metallic creak, a voice saying, "This won't take long." There's a moment at the 17-minute mark where you hear Claire ask a question. Her voice is steady but tense. She says, "Is this part of the exam?" There's a long pause. Then a different voice responds. Calm. Male. Precise. It says, "You signed the waiver." Then silence. The next 30 minutes of audio are mostly quiet, but at timestamp 4712, the sound of restraints being adjusted can be heard. Leather straps, metal buckles, a wheeled tray is moved, and then something that has kept audio techs up at night, humming. A slow, rhythmic hum, not from Claire, from him. The final sound captured is a dragging noise, not fast, deliberate, followed by what experts believe is a door closing and locking from the outside. After that, the recorder cuts out, battery drained, or something else. Investigators arrived at Crestfall Medical 3 days later. What they found didn't match what anyone expected. When officers entered the clinic, they found it perfectly staged, neat, clean, operational. But the power had been shut off. The temperature inside was unusually low, 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and there were no employees present, no patients, no medical records. Just one thing sitting on the reception desk, Claire's phone. Inside the exam room she was last seen entering, everything looked untouched. But on the wall, covered by a thin sheet of white paper, was a large mirror. Not a standard clinic fixture. Behind that mirror, discovered during structural inspection, was a narrow hidden corridor, less than 4 feet wide. The corridor led to a basement chamber. It wasn't on any blueprint. It wasn't visible from the outside, and it wasn't empty. Inside, they found 3 metal examination tables. One had straps on the sides. There were rusted tools, some surgical, some not. No windows. One door, locked from within. On the far wall, carved into the concrete, was a name, Claire. The scratches looked fresh. Underneath the table, police recovered a flash drive, password protected. Its contents, still under forensic review, contained surveillance clips, dozens of women, different faces, same room, different dates, none of them traceable, except one, a woman who vanished in 2017. Similar age, similar story. But what disturbed investigators most was a 14-second video file titled Consent. In it, a hand holds a form with multiple signatures, all the same name, same handwriting. Each signature marked with the date, March 19th. Dozens of them. And yet, Claire only signed once. To this day, no forensic analyst has been able to explain how the ink on the signatures is different, even though they were supposedly signed at the same time. The clinic was shut down, the building demolished, but the man listed as the attending physician, Dr. E. Laws, was never found, because legally, he never existed. Claire Harper's case remains open. Officially, she is listed as a missing person. No body, no suspect, no formal charges. But what's most troubling isn't what was found, it's what wasn't. The flash drive disappeared from evidence storage 6 months after it was recovered. The lead detective on the case resigned without explanation. And Crestfall Medical, it never had a physical lease. No paper trail, just a website, now offline, registered under a shell company tied to 6 other addresses across the country. All of them abandoned. Every woman tied to those addresses has a common thread. All visited a clinic. All were alone, and all vanished without a trace. The handwriting samples pulled from the intake forms across those locations, identical. So the question remains, was Claire Harper targeted, or was she chosen? And if someone out there is still operating, would you even know if your next checkup was your last? Tell us, would you feel safe sitting in that exam chair if you knew no one was coming to get you? If you made it this far, you're already part of the investigation. Was Claire Harper just one of many? Or is this something far larger, hidden in plain sight? We want your theories in the comments below. And if you've ever had a medical experience you couldn't explain, we're listening. Like this video if the story kept you thinking. Subscribe if you want more true horror based on real reports, real names, and real fear. And before your next appointment, take a second look at the building. Some doors weren't meant to open.